everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 74. I am your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-hosts, the Riot fanboy, Montrell Rice.
Fuck you.
And a woman endlessly stuck at the vet, Tiara Tari.
I love it.
How are you guys doing?
I'm good.
Making it.
Yeah, so Tiara, I do have a question for you. Genuine question here. So I'm following you on Twitter now, and I see you on my feed quite often. And I saw a picture. You posted a picture of your nails. I think it was last week or something like that. Is that right?
Sounds about right.
Okay. I just have a genuine question. How do you play games with those nails? Like, that seems like it might take some effort.
Actually, the only time that it takes effort is games that have like button pushing or combos, so like fighting games.
Okay.
Other than that, your
Pretty
fingers. Yeah, because fingers on a trigger. The bumpers and then the triggers. Those on the outside, so it's not really a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, these guys are actually pretty easy.
Okay.
Well, maybe just because I've had them for so long that
You've adjusted.
I've just adjusted.
Okay, yeah, I saw that and I was like, how does she play with that? But I guess it's not that hard. I mean, your nails aren't like super long, but they're I've seen way longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
There are gamers that have way longer nails, but
you would ask Cardi B.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, I don't. How do you even function like that? I can't. Like, how do you do basic things like open a door?
I've actually never had my nails that long before, so I couldn't tell you.
That's crazy to me. Yeah.
I remember I used to go to the nail shop with my mama when I was younger, and I seen women's nails that were like so long they started to curl up. Your nails start to curl up.
That's what Cardi B. That's what she's talking about. Yeah, I can't. I don't understand. Yeah. This is a video game show, so I guess let's get into that for everybody.
Yes.
So this, if you haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post every week, 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. We're moving the day we post on YouTube to Mondays. So it's going to be Mondays from now on, 6 a.m. Central Time. The episode goes up on Friday on audio feeds, Monday on YouTube with video. Also, Montrell and I recorded our Last of Us 2 spoiler cast this past weekend, and that is up right now, currently. You can listen to it. It is almost 3 hours, and it is glorious. It is a deep dive. We go over everything with the game and our thoughts on it, so check that out as well if you are interested in that. Full spoilers, though. If you haven't played the game, don't listen unless you don't care about spoilers. So
yeah.
Okay. Now that that's out of the way, let us get into the regular show flow. Games we've been playing. Let's start with Tiara. Let's start with you this week. You told me you actually played video games this week, so
yes. I was told not to make it 2 weeks in a row, so
Good job. You did your homework.
So I was very adamant about that. My homeboy taught me how to play Apex in depth. So I was very excited about that because if you remember, I said the first time I played Apex, it was like too much of a learning curve. It was just a lot.
You were bagging on it a little.
So I was just like, I'm not going to do it. But, he really walked me through everybody's powers, everybody's special abilities, their ultimates, different weapons. And so I now feel better about the game.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to get back into Apex.
So are you playing on console or
console?
PC?
Yes.
Console.
Yes,
okay.
I normally play on PS4.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe we need to stream this game, guys. This seems like a streamable game.
Oh wait, we can't be streaming. It's like good,
I mean, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be the one streaming. Montrell will be streaming. We'll support. We'll just pretend you're good. It'll be fine. Nobody will notice. It'll be okay.
So that's one game. I have been trying to put more effort into Warzone. That is my battle royale of choice.
Okay.
So I've been playing that more continuously. See, because I really haven't played first-person shooters like that. I'm more of the RPG type person. So, but I wanted to get more into competitive gaming. So I was like, Warzone was like the one that really hooked me to battle royale. So I was like, that's my thing right there. So that's what I'm trying to get like really good at.
Okay.
Warzone. And then I've advanced a little bit in Pokemon Sword.
Okay. How many gyms do you got?
I just defeated the 5th one, which is the Fairy Gym, I think.
Okay.
Fun fact, I am a fairy Pokemon trainer, so I walk around with all fairy Pokemon.
Okay. You're playing a little sandboxy. I like it.
Yeah, so I put my starter Pokemon, which is now a Rillaboom, put him aside because he's all grass.
Yeah.
But I occasionally pull him out again and keep his level up. But for the most part, I run with all fairy Pokemon. So yeah, and it was kind of funny because the lady in the gym, she was like, "Oh, I'm looking for the person to take over the gym next," and I was like, "Oh, she must be talking about me. She has to be talking about me." You know, and then at the end when I defeated her, she was like, "Oh no, you're not the person I'm looking for. You know, next." And I'm like, "Wow, what a hater."
That'd be kind of cool though if you could become the gym leader. But doesn't she ask you and you're like, nah?
No. She said that I'm not what she's looking for. That she did. I didn't have something she was looking for. But that would be kind of cool though, kind of like a I don't know, like a GM mode or something.
Well,
like
yes. So they should make a game from the perspective of a gym leader. Like that would be cool. Like you play as the gym leader and you have to face all these random trainers every day. You know. And it's almost like a Persona game. You know, you have like a schedule or whatever, and you have to spend your time a certain way. You know, that'd be interesting.
You guys are saying great ideas, but they're never going to happen because it's Pokemon.
Look, dude, the MOBA's unlocked my mind. Okay, I'm back to like, you know, just like thinking about Pokemon. Like, what weird genres can we put Pokemon in? You know, like I want to insert it into every genre. Like a Pokemon shooter, give it to me. Okay, I'm sure this Pokemon with guns, right? Yeah, no, Inteleon has a gun. Like literally has like a rifle.
Oh yeah, I like to say, I had in Warzone last night. I had a game with 7 kills.
Ooh.
7 whole kills.
Okay, that's impressive.
Yes.
I don't know how good
it means
that is
I'm getting
Warzone,
better.
But yeah,
it means that I'm getting better. So I mean, battle royales. You know, that's excellent. You know, go whole game.
It's 100 players, right?
150.
150. Oh, Jesus! Wow.
Yeah, 150. You know, plus the gulag.
Because Apex is only 64, so.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I said plus the gulag, so that's really like, you know, more than 150. But still it's pretty good. And like I said, I'm getting into first person shooters, so I like to think that I'm moving along.
I mean, if you haven't played them in a long time or not at all, and you're already getting 7 kills, I mean, it sounds like you have natural talent at shooters. Because, you know, I get 7 kills in Apex, and I'm excited. So that was a good day for me. But okay, you playing anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, Montrell, what about you?
This week, what have I been playing? Play some Warzone with Tiara. We played like
my
God. We played one game on Sunday.
Oh my God! First of all, we didn't play Warzone.
We did.
Oh no, we did play Warzone, but we played co-op too.
Co-op is trash. I don't know what they did to that mode. That mode is just complete trash. I don't.
I think that you need 4 people to actually run it, but
you need an actual group. Yeah,
you need an actual group.
Yeah.
But Montrell was supposed to come back and play with me, and I waited for him. Like he said, he stood me up. I kept checking. It was like online 15
Why
hours
didn't you
ago.
just text me?
Online 20
Now you know how I feel. Now you know how I feel about
And
Dota.
he said that he was going to come online. We had a set time.
I fell asleep. I came home. I cooked food and I fell asleep.
Sure thing, man. Sure thing, dude.
So, I cooked
you were playing with your cat. Don't lie.
I had to take care of people. So it's like whatever. Anyway, so I played my video game. I played League of Legends a little bit.
Fucking degenerate. I'm just gonna start harassing you every time you bring that game up.
I haven't played Valorant lately. I need to play that a little bit more, but yeah, those are the only 2 games I've really been playing this week because I've been pretty busy trying to mentally prepare myself for work, and now I'm working and stuff like that. So I gotta get back on schedule.
Okay. Well, I've been playing one game. You know, I've Brigandine, Legend of Renuncia. I did mention it last week briefly. I have been playing that pretty much exclusively. I'm about to finish one campaign. I put about 25 hours in, I'd say. I just really like this game. I'm gonna be honest with everybody. This game is not great. Okay, this is not a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. This is like at best it's like a 7.5. But this game's concept just it's for me. They literally made this game for me. Like it's just it's like Montrell, when I was explaining it to him, like it's like Risk with like a tactical RPG element for the battles. Like that's pretty much what it is. And you have to manage your armies and everything, and there's leveling up and you can send knights on quests to get like items and equipment and stuff, and equip your knights and monsters. And that's pretty much the whole game. You have to like take over the whole continent, and there's like 6 nations. You pick one of them, and you play as that nation, and you have to beat the other 5 and take over the whole continent. That's the game. But I find it very addicting. It's just like, this is my game. This is like, I love this game. I love the original on PS1, Brigandine: The Legend of Forcina. Yeah, I'm going to be playing this for a while, probably. It's a fun game. It speaks to me. So if you like tactical games and you're interested in a war game like that, it's $50 on the eShop. I think it's overpriced. Definitely think it's overpriced. It should be $30. There is a demo though on eShop if you're interested in checking it out.
Which is this on?
Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, you get to play 3 turns in the demo. So
personally, I don't feel like a Switch game should be no more than $30.
Unless it's from Nintendo. Or,
like the fact that Paper Mario is coming out at $60 has me sick.
I think they should be $50.
I think they should be $30.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't pay. I think it's egregious that they're still charging full price for Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. Yeah, but people are buying it at that price.
They're still charging full price for that Legend of Zelda game.
Oh
like, why would they not? People are buying them. Like, I don't know. Like, I think for the other companies, they drop price because the sales dip, and they drop price in order to bring the sales back up for a little while. Like Nintendo doesn't have this problem. Their games just sell constantly, just forever, indefinitely.
It shouldn't.
Well, they do. They do. So it is what it is.
They pull a Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, even Grand Theft Auto 5, that game's cheap at this point. But again, it's been out for 7 years, so I'd hope so. So yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out. Demo on the eShop, like I said. So all right, that's it for what we've been playing. Let's move on to the news. We don't have a lot, but there's some pretty meaty stories here. So we're gonna start with another sexual harassment story again.
Jesus
for the third week in a row.
These
Gaming
just can't stop being a rapist.
Yeah, for real. Gaming, can we just clean this up? Or let's just reboot it. Let's reboot gaming. Because I'm tired of talking about this shit.
Well, I'm gonna add some context. I'm gonna let you get the story, but I'm gonna add some context to a lot of stuff that's happening just in the fighting game community as a whole right now.
Got it. So yeah, if you can't tell from what Montrell is saying, this involves EVO, which is the yearly event that has a bunch of fighting game tournaments for various fighting games. This is a huge event, and it is being canceled for the year. Not just for COVID because of what happened here with the CEO, I think, because a lot of companies are pulling out based on what happened here. So the CEO, his name is Joey Kuehler, and he has been accused of abuse and sexual assault allegations in the late 90s and early 2000s against people who were underage at the time, under the age of 18. One of them was named Mikey Pham, and he said this on Twitter. And basically, since these allegations came out, a number of companies, NetherRealm, who make Mortal Kombat 11, Capcom, Bandai Namco, all pulled their games from this event and canceled their tournaments after these allegations came out. And then Mr. Kuehler did release a tweet. He said, quote, "I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone. I was young and reckless and did things I'm not proud of. I have been growing and maturing over the past 20 years, but that doesn't excuse anything. All I've been trying to do is become a better person. Once again, I'm truly sorry." So basically implicating that this is true. I would say. And then EVO, the company, released a statement. So, quote, "Over the past 24 hours, in response to serious allegations recently made public on Twitter, we have made the first of a series of important decisions regarding the future of our company. Effective immediately, Joey Kuehler will no longer be involved in EVO in any capacity. We are currently working towards his complete separation from the company and have relieved him of all his responsibilities. Going forward, Tony Cannon will act as CEO. in this position, he will take a leadership role in prioritizing greater accountability across EVO, both internally and at our events. Progress doesn't happen overnight or without the bravery of those who speak up against misconduct and injustice. We are shocked and saddened by these events, but we are listening and committed to making every change that will be necessary and making EVO a better model for the stronger, safer culture we all seek. As a result, we will be canceling EVO Online and will work to issue refunds for all players who chose to purchase a badge. We will donate the equivalent of the proceeds as promised to Project Hope, end quote. So apparently they had shifted this to be an online event, I guess. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was going to be completely online.
But they're canceling it, period. So yeah, Montrell, do you want to add some context here to this story?
Well, not just this story, but the fighting game community as a whole. This story is wild because this happened like during all the moments of like Justin Wong and all the other shit like that. And Tony Cannon is actually a really good guy, so I'm glad he's taking over. Because a lot of people didn't really.
He's the co-founder, right?
Yeah, so I'm glad he's leading the charge with that. A lot of people are as well. But not only in EVO, a lot of other stuff happened, like in the Smash Brothers community. I don't know if I talked about it last week or just talking about it in general. But it was another sexual assault case. It was actually 2 or 3 of them. It was a popular YouTuber named Niaro. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But he got accused of sexual assault or statutory rape with a minor. And then it was actually a woman who got accused of rape of a male gamer. He was 14 and she was 24 at the time, 21, 22, maybe between her. She was in her early 20s and he was 14, and she was manipulating him and doing all other stuff like that. So that happened, and then fast forward again, and since all these sexual assault allegations have came out, and while a lot of them have been true, unfortunately we've been having people take advantage of the situation. And we've had someone in the Kingdom Hearts community try to use the same format for being bullied in the Kingdom Hearts community, but there was no sexual assault allegations. But he used the same format and like the twit longer thing that they usually. He's like, I'm speaking my story in the Kingdom Hearts 3 community, and that pissed a lot of people off. So he actually almost got ran off Twitter because that was very bait and switch. But we did have another fighting game community person, Noel B, who's like very famous in the fighting game community as far as like he's a veteran up there like with Justin Wong, Chris G, and them. He got accused of sexual assault and rape, and he actually had proof that it didn't happen and that the girl actually lied about it. And this is not just a sole case. It's actually been 4 cases like this of people just lying about it. So we have
but see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and like, I was just about to say, like, this can, like, that can really diminish the cases of actual allegations, and I don't want that to take away from this.
And then not to mention destroy the reputation of innocent people.
Yeah,
right.
Because now he has to get a lawyer.
You can't wash that stigma off.
Yeah.
Because not everybody probably saw that. Oh, she was lying. His name is probably still floating around in some crevice of the internet.
Right. What's the crazy part? I was reading like comments, and people, even after he had receipts, people were like, "This doesn't prove anything," where it clearly did, and it was just wild that people were not believing him. And I was reading her. I read her version first before I even saw his version. I read her version. And she put text messages up, but the text messages really didn't implicate anything. Like, they were just having a conversation, in my opinion. I mean, he said some raunchy stuff and she said some raunchy stuff to him, but it wasn't like, oh, this proves that he raped her. And people it was like, oh, she dropped receipts and I thought you did it. And he was like, I was having a conversation with her. How does that prove anything? And I would agree with him, because when I read his stuff, he had text messages from his friend who she liked. So she lied about, okay, so the whole situation is she had sex with Noel B, and he has a friend that she likes. So she didn't want the friend to find out, because she actually wanted to be with the friend. So instead of just owning up to him, like, yeah, I had sex with your friend a while ago. She went the rape route, and yeah, all that happened. And his friend actually sent his version of the text message over, and she said she lied because, you know, she was hurt by him and all this other stuff like that. And it was just a wild thing. But like you said, like, that can, because you were hurt and you wanted to be with somebody else, you're going to damage somebody else's reputation. That's really fucked up. Not to mention,
that is really fucked up.
Yeah, not to mention that that not only hurts him, but that hurts other rape allegations. Now everyone's going to be looking at other rape allegations with, they already look at it with a skeptical eye, but we don't need that extra fire to the extra fuel to the flame of you lying about this. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just a really childish thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is, I don't know, this is just like it's like week after week with this man. But it is interesting because I did see one, I forget the name, I was trying to look it up, but I can't find it right now. There was one that somebody there was a woman who accused someone of raping them when they were underage, when they were 14. And they had this story where, like, the streamer, like, bought them a hotel room and, like, you know, flew them out to, like, some convention or whatever. And their story didn't seem very, like, it didn't have great footing. But this person, like, came out and, like, they're getting receipts and, like, you know, emails from the hotels and everything, and, like, confirming credit statements and stuff. So I've seen a couple. I've seen another one of these as well, where it's like, this is diminishing the ones that are actually true, you know, and it's really unfortunate that happens. Like, it really shouldn't happen to me. So but this with EVO, I mean, Montrell, do you think EVO will go forward next year, or
it would definitely go forward next year? But I'm glad a lot of women are speaking out, because EVO, or the fighting game community in general, has been, like, really sexist towards women, especially in that environment. I mean, I know we talk a lot of shit in that, when you're in that setting, it's a competitive setting, and people talk shit a lot. And I understand people are like, well, you know, you gotta be thick-skinned and stuff, like, that's what we do, we talk shit. Like, there's a difference between talking shit and then being sexist. Like, you can talk shit to a girl and not be sexist. Like, you can have banter, you know, and josh around with them, but you ain't gotta be all sexist and shit like that. And then on top of that, Chris G, who was like one of the top, you know, Marvel players in the world at the time, Marvel vs. Capcom players, he had some sexist comments and stuff about black women, and it's just a whole big thing. So this has been, like, boiling for, like, the last 7 years, and I think everything finally came to a head this year. So I mean, this is not surprising to me. Like, all this stuff coming out is just not surprising. I've been out of the fighting game community for about 4 years, but when I was in it, trying to break into it, I saw it, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think we'll leave that one there. Let's move on to our next story. So this one is more in the acquisition realm. So Sony, there's a report out there from Bloomberg that Sony is considering bidding for Leyou Technologies Holdings, which is a holding company, a Chinese holding company. The important part about this story is that this holding company actually owns a couple development studios that are of note. Warframe developer Digital Extremes, and then UK studio Splash Damage. And then there's also a studio that is working with Amazon on a Lord of the Rings MMO as well, part of this. So this is an interesting rumor going around right now. It seems like an odd choice for Sony, but it depends on what's part of the full catalog. I don't know all the companies involved that they would be acquiring here, but having Warframe would be weird because it's already, I mean, it's a game that's out, right? And it's not like it's just going to be like kind of like a Minecraft situation, I feel like, where they're not going to take it off other platforms, and they're not going to make anything necessarily exclusive to PlayStation, I wouldn't think, right? It just wouldn't really make sense for an established game like this.
No, I think they're going to go the Minecraft route. Like, I think they should just buy the studio, buy the IP or whatever, and just continue to make money off of it while it's on other platforms. So that would be stupid to make it exclusive to Sony.
Yeah.
I literally keep forgetting that Microsoft bought Minecraft.
Yeah.
I literally keep forgetting that.
Well, that's because they didn't really change anything with it. They just bought it and they've just made money off of it now since they bought it, you know.
Yeah, I remember when that happened, everyone was worried that Microsoft was going to like make it exclusive to Xbox and Windows and stuff like that. But no, they kept it on every platform, which is a good move by them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're making money on every platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah, I think it's interesting though that Sony's kind of in the acquisition mode right now because they did this in the mid to late 2000s, where they bought up a shitload of studios, and then in the PS3 era, they had this like glut of first party studios that were just making tons of games, like Zipper Interactive and a number of others that have closed. And they really haven't, like, since they closed. I think Zipper might have been the last one they closed in like 2012. That was after, I think they were the ones who made PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, which is a funny name in retrospect. But I think that was the last one they closed, and that was in like 2012. And they hadn't acquired a studio or even really been rumored to acquire anybody until they acquired Insomniac last year, which that one felt like a natural acquisition. But now it seems like they're more floating around looking for more acquisitions, because there's been rumors of other ones. Like Remedy was rumored for a while. That didn't end up happening. But it just seems like Sony's kind of they're out in the field trying to find some stuff that they want to add to the stable, because Microsoft has added a lot. They're up to 15 first-party studios now, which is quite a bit. But I don't know. Do you guys feel like Sony's trying to like get themselves up so they have kind of a blow for blow with Microsoft, or do you think
does Sony produce or develop any of their games?
Yeah, they have all the studios they own are Sony. So yes, like Naughty Dog, Gorilla, Sucker Punch, Insomniac, all those. There's quite a number.
Okay. So when these exclusives come out, there's Sony
owned studios. Yeah.
Okay, first party game. Okay. Because I was thinking that Sony didn't have any. Okay, that's cool.
No,
you know, I don't think so. I don't feel like Sony feels as though they gotta compete with Microsoft, honestly.
I was just about to say that.
like on the exclusive level, like Microsoft can do whatever, and
Sony doesn't care.
Right? No, because every Sony exclusive is really fire, honestly.
Yes.
Like it's actually really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the formula Sony got with their studios, but Microsoft need to go like send some spies over there, because
the problem with Microsoft, man, they don't want to.
I'm gonna tell you, Microsoft's best exclusive, honestly, outside of like the Gears and Halo, is Quantum Break. That's their best exclusive.
But that was one they contracted from Remedy, who actually got bought up. So
well, that's quite unfortunate, because that hybrid movie game that they did was really, really well done. And let me tell you, anytime you introduce time travel into a storyline and you're able to keep the canon, that is no like small feat.
Yeah.
So if you haven't played Quantum Break, play Quantum Break.
I need to play it. I just saw the reviews on it and people didn't like it, and there was a lot of people.
Quantum Break was amazing.
I'll play it. I'll give it a shot.
But yeah, that was Remedy. They got bought up by Epic actually like a month ago.
Okay.
So, they're off the market now. So I mean, that IP is owned by Microsoft, but I doubt they would revisit it, given that it did have a very tepid critical reception from what I remember, and it did not. Quantum Break sell very well.
No. Quantum Break. It was all right, but the Quantum Break, the game, it was a solid storyline. Like there was no room for a sequel. Like that was intended to be.
Okay, it was a one-off.
That was exactly. It was intended to be a one-off.
Okay.
So.
Well, yeah, Remedy made Control most recently. That came out in August last year or September.
I heard that got
you
really
know what
good
though?
reviews.
You know what? Now that you say that, and I think about Quantum Break and Control, a lot of the mechanics were the same.
Yeah.
A lot of the mechanics were the same, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I just find it interesting that they're floating around looking for
they
studios.
Also made Alan Wake,
Oh,
Yes,
that's right.
sir. Yep.
That's true. Yep.
Did y'all play Alan Wake?
Yep.
No,
I loved
I
it.
don't know.
I didn't play Alan Wake. I have them, but I never played it because it's 2 Alan Wake games.
But yeah, I'm not sure what the point of this is right now for Sony. Like I feel like they have a good stable of studios. They have a good number of studios. They don't really I don't know, is it a thing where they want to like expand their first party portfolio, because that is the one criticism they have, is that their first party games are all the same genre pretty much
Who?
outside of Gran Turismo. I mean, they're all third-person
Sony?
action games. Yeah, they're all third-person action games. I mean, God of War most recently, Last of Us, Spider-Man, Horizon,
Uncharted.
Ben's game with Days Gone. They're all third-person games.
Oh,
you know?
wait. Okay,
Yeah,
but
so-
not Detroit Become Human. That's not a third party action.
That was a second-party game, so that is not.
Oh, really?
That was a second-party contracted game through the company. What's the name of the company that makes that? Why am I forgetting? David Cage's company. Oh my god, I'm blanking really hard right now. But they're no longer. They're independent now. They've broken their deal with Sony, so they're not going to be making any more exclusives for PlayStation. So yeah, that is one. But it's like, that's the thing, is like the first party lineup outside of Gran Turismo is very, very third person heavy. So,
but look at what Microsoft. I mean,
my thing is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right, exactly. I think that's what I was getting at.
Yo,
because I'm about to say, if it works and it's been working amazingly, why change it?
That's what I'm getting at, though. I think, are they trying to expand the portfolio through acquisitions and not making their current companies change what they're doing, right?
I mean, that would make sense. I would do that.
Right. Diversify the genres you're working with, like maybe have a shooter or a multiplayer game or something like that. Because that's something like I feel like they're missing. That I know Microsoft's not in a great place, but Microsoft definitely has like the multiplayer side of things on Sony for sure.
That's true.
That's definitely true.
And I feel like Sony's, oh God, I want to have something, that they can say is like, this is our multiplayer game, because I mean, they got like SOCOM and shit like that they kind of abandoned and haven't done anything with in a long time, and like that's a franchise people love,
Yep.
So it's like, have someone bring that back, I feel like it could live in today's environment.
Yeah,
for sure.
that is really telling of Sony. I didn't even realize that until you said it. They really don't have any good first party multiplayer games. I mean, The Last of Us 1, it was a good multiplayer game, but people don't remember it for the multiplayer.
Yeah, and that's really niche.
Yeah. So and I know a lot of people like the Drake like the Uncharted multiplayer portion of it. I mean, it's really good too, but like I said, you don't go to Uncharted because the multiplayer is just fucking phenomenal. You go to it because of the story and the action and stuff like that. Right. Whereas with Xbox, it's like the opposite, right? Like you go to Gears because, I mean, Gears has a good storyline, but a lot of people will play Gears online. A lot of people play Halo online. They don't really care about, the multiplayer, the single player aspect of those games. So even when I buy multiplayer games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, I'll always buy it on Xbox. I never buy it on PlayStation because first of all, I hate the controller for PlayStation for first person shooters, and then second of all, like the infrastructure for Xbox is just way better in my opinion, like ton better. So
I feel like Xbox is known for like multiplayer gaming. It's the originator of like multiplayer gaming.
They are, right?
Yeah. So
and rightfully so. I mean, they have great multiplayer games.
And I don't blame Xbox for trying to break into the single player scene. I mean, they had some good first person or some good single player titles. I know for a fact that everybody and their mama, PlayStation fans even say this, they bring Fable back. They would buy Xbox strictly for Fable, and I am 100% on that. Yeah.
Fable was definitely
dope. this feels like
a good STDs in Fable.
You can. It's amazing.
That's interesting. Well, this feels like a good opportunity to swap some stories around. I had this as the final news story, but let's move it here. Okay. So Microsoft announced that they're going to be showing. They're having a games showcase, Xbox Series X games showcase on July 23rd, 9 a.m. Pacific time, and they did tease that Halo Infinite is going to be shown here, which I would expect because it is supposed to be a launch game for this console. But I guess. I mean, if you're excited about Halo, give me your thoughts on that. But what do you guys expect to see at this kind of showing? Like I said, they have 15 first-party studios now, and we have seen very little from most of them recently.
I think we're gonna get Ninja Theory first party game. Like I know they're.
We already know what they're doing Hellblade 2. We know that.
That's going to be exclusive though, or is it still going to be? Oh,
No.
it is.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be exclusive.
Okay.
And they showed that at the Game Awards. And and the other game Ninja Theory is working on is that multiplayer game that came out.
That game already released.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if I don't think they're big enough to have a third game.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay.
Personally, I'm not expecting nothing spectacular out of Microsoft.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree with Yara. Like I don't.
Like it's gonna be like, oh, these games are coming out, but they're not gonna be nowhere near as good as games.
And I used to be
always.
an Xbox stan, and I used to love Xbox, and it's like,
Same.
If they don't announce Fable, then that's their show for me.
Like,
honestly.
I mean, they said that they created a Fable placeholder Twitter account.
I know,
recently,
I saw that.
So
like.
I don't need. I know they're gonna do it because PlayStation does it too, but Xbox is really egregious with it. I know they're gonna show third-party games and then act like it's exclusive, but it's not. I don't need to see Assassin's Creed. And I know they're gonna show it, but I don't need like a 10-minute spot. I don't need that shit. I'm sorry. It's gonna play the exact same way as Odyssey, and I don't fucking care. So like, let's just focus on your first-party games. And then I don't know what Halo Infinite is. I don't even know what. Like, why did they change the naming scheme? So I'm very skeptical of that because I don't know what that is. Like, why is it called Infinite and not Halo 6?
I know, it sounds like a multiplayer game, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but it's so sad because like I just looked at my Xbox profile today and it was like, oh, I've been had Xbox Live for 10 years, and I'm like, wow, I've had an Xbox for 10 years, way longer than I've had anything PlayStation.
Yeah,
but I just can't get behind Microsoft right now.
Yeah, I had my Xbox profile for 14 years, about 14 years.
Wow.
So I mean, they have good single player games that they just never go back and visit for some reason. Yeah. And then even if they do try to have a single player game, they always cancel it. So that's why I'm really scared. Even if they do show these cool single player one-off games that they're going to make, right? Always is going to be in the back of my head is when they're going to cancel it. And that's what's going to be in the back of everyone. You're going to see that. I guarantee you're going to see that on Stream Chat. Like, people are going to be like, when they're going to cancel it. Because that's all they do. They cancel games. Like Scalebound was one of their most anticipated games, and they canceled that game.
I was personally actually really looking forward to that game, and a lot of people I knew were actually. That was the one game they ever showed this generation that really was like, shit, I want to play an Xbox game. Like that's the game, you know. But yeah, it got canceled, and
then the other game they released, Crackdown 3, which is Crackdown was a really good franchise. And then they just shitted on it. Like I don't know how you get from Crackdown 2, which is a really good game, to Crackdown 3, which is shit.
Yeah, it's a garbage pile.
Was that how you anticipated?
Yes, it was.
It was, but it was trash. Like I mean, if you go watch videos of it, it looks terrible. Like,
it was supposed to have really unique, destructible environments. Like it was supposed to be crazy. But then like when they do get games like Sunset Overdrive, like other people play that game.
I remember Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, other people on other consoles, and this is a fault to the Xbox gamers too as well. Like I'm an Xbox gamer, so I'm trashing myself. I bought that game, I loved it, but a lot of other Xbox gamers didn't really appreciate it for what it was. Like, yeah, it was kind of bare bones. But I loved it for what it was, and then when it got released on, like, I think it came on PlayStation as well now, and I think it's now on PlayStation.
No, it's
on X.
Maybe
it's on
PC.
PC, yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I think it might be on PC.
PC people love the game, like they fucking love it. So
yeah. And that resulted in Insomniac getting bought by Sony.
Yeah,
like, that game literally did. Well, because think about it, they didn't. That was their first foray into not releasing a game on PlayStation in like 15 years, you know, and it was a fucking disaster for them in terms of financially. Like it just did not hit the way they are used to with their games selling. Like Insomniac's games sell. They are not games that sell less than 1 million copies. Like, and I don't know what. Did it not even hit 1 million? I mean, I'm sure it has lifetime.
I mean, now it probably has, but
yeah, it was not a big seller. As much as it was critically acclaimed, like it was not a big seller. And I think that ultimately led to it led to them going back to Sony for a Ratchet and Clank game, and then Spider-Man, And after those two, Sony made the offer, and they were like, "Fuck it, you know what? Sure, like we're gonna make games for you anyways. So why not take your money?"
Another problem is I think they just missed the mark. Like they don't put stock in a lot of games. I don't know what it is. Like Titanfall, for instance, right? That was an Xbox exclusive, and
was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Xbox exclusive. And
that was a huge mistake.
And then they let Respawn get bought out by EA. They didn't even challenge that. They let Respawn get bought by EA. And then now Titanfall's on all consoles, and people are like, this game's fucking amazing. Why was it just locked on Xbox? It just seems weird that they just missed the mark on a lot of shit. I don't understand it. They just don't have
good people in their corner, honestly. They need gamers in their corner.
And I feel like Phil Spencer is that gamer. It's just I think he doesn't have the power that I think he has, or
maybe he's trying to be too much like Sony and lets these companies do what they want, and what these companies want to do is not like smart stuff, things that are actually going to sell. Because that multiplayer game from Ninja Theory is such a no one was excited about that when it was announced, and it just kind of got pooped out. I didn't even know it was out until a couple weeks ago, and it just nobody's playing it either. It doesn't seem like it has any traction,
it's such a weird, obscure game too. It's like they're trying to make a team shooter / brawler type situation, but those never really go well, and it's like they didn't do a good job at executing it at all as well. So I don't know. It's just weird. Like, just stick to your guns. I think Ninja Theory should just stick to making really good action games. I understand they try to make a multiplayer game, but it didn't hit.
And that's what Xbox has to be there to steer them towards, right? Not say you can't make what you want to make, but I doubt Sony greenlights every game that is pitched to them. I know for a fact they're not, because Sony Bend went through 3 different games before they landed on Days Gone, and that game potentially wasn't necessarily the right game to greenlight, but it was successful. So Sony, they seem to know what ideas are good ideas, and that's something Xbox needs to get right, because Rare has this game Everwild. What even is this? Why did you greenlight this? And then the one from Obsidian, the Survive or whatever. The game looks interesting, but why are you letting Obsidian make that? This is an RPG studio that's they're known for making RPGs.
Obsidian is Fallout New Vegas, right?
And then Pillars of Eternity and Outer Worlds too.
Yeah, that game's a survival game that they're making, right?
Right, it's some multiplayer survival game.
And that's what I'm talking about, right? People can argue. People are probably going to argue if any Xbox fans, they're like, "Oh well, Sea of Thieves is just doing amazing." It's bro, that shit was trash when it first came out, and then it gradually got better over time. But it's that's a one-off game. We can't have Sea of Thieves everywhere. I wanted to play Sea of Thieves, but it was just when it first got released, we all were saying "Yo, that game looks really cool." Mm-hmm. But I don't know. They just Sony knows their audience. Nintendo knows their audience. It's Xbox, you don't know your audience. And I understand oh well, it's the Dude Bro console, and that.
But if that's your audience, then why are you making cartoony survival?
Exactly.
Games? What?
Make a really unique first person shooter. Make a really unique third person shooter, or make just dibble and dab with things. You can make a really good single player third person shooter, and your Xbox fans will gravitate towards that because it's a shooter. You know what I'm saying?
I'm hoping the initiative is making a game like that. They have. I feel like they have to be, man, because that's the studio they made. That's the all-star team that they made a few years back, and we have no idea what they're making, but it's got to be a story-driven game that's a third-person shooter or something along those lines, or an open-world game.
Oh, shit, and I forgot. They had Mass Effect, and they let BioWare go.
Oh, that's right, man.
They had Mass Effect, they had KOTOR, they had these games. People play KOTOR on either PC or Xbox. I played it on Xbox. why didn't they acquire BioWare right then and there? Like, it's like they let stuff go. And they had Jade Empire.
They had Bungie, dude, too, and they ruined that relationship to the point where Bungie wanted out, you know?
Yeah, and they had Jade Empire from BioWare. And a lot of people, even though that's an obscure game, a lot of people didn't play Jade Empire, but that was a really good BioWare game. So they had Mass Effect.
Oh, wait, I love Jade Empire. That was the first Xbox.
Yeah, they had Mass Effect, Jade Empire. They had Titanfall. You have these that goes on to other consoles to be great fucking IPs, and Xbox is just sitting there like, well, we have Halo and Gears. It's like, no, acquire these studios that are making good fucking games.
Right. Cause see, J Empire was Mass Effect before, like the whole morality system.
Yeah.
Like that was Mass Effect before Mass Effect.
Yeah,
I love J Empire.
KOTOR as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think the fear for a lot of people, and I'm one of these people, because I love Obsidian. I think they're a great studio, and some of these other ones too, like Ninja Theory is a good studio. Double Fine, another one they acquired, they're a good studio, but it's like, if you're gonna let these studios make bad games, or not bad games, but games that aren't gonna hit with your audience, and then they don't do well financially, and then these studios are all of a sudden in jeopardy, and like you close them in 5 years because you let them release 2 games that don't apply to the audience you have on your console, like that's on you. And if that ends up happening, that's gonna piss me off. Like, the dude, like if Obsidian doesn't ends up getting closed in 5 or 10 years, I'm gonna be really upset with Microsoft. Like, why'd you fucking acquire them then? Because they were doing fine on their own, you know? Like, it's so, I don't know. This event is very, very important for Xbox Series X. If this does not hit the way that the Sony event hit earlier last month, they're in big trouble, I think. Like, they need to be coming with the real heavy hitters. And these games better not be coming out in 2022. Like, they need to be coming this year or next year. And that, like, they better not show anything.
And if it's next year, it has to be Q1 next year.
Right, exactly. Like, they should not be showing anything that is past, like, summer 2021, in my opinion, at this event. Because if they do, I just, like, they're missing the plot. Like, they have to hit now. Like, now. This is their chance. Well, because they've been doing well for a while, and they've been building up. Yeah. But if the games don't hit, they're gonna lose again.
Well, they need to capitalize on their games, right? Like, they have, like, a lot of people forgot about this game, but like in 2017, from 2014 to 2017, this game was up there with like Street Fighter, which is Killer Instinct. I love fucking Killer Instinct, and everyone loved Killer Instinct. But like, we need a Killer Instinct 2. Like, we need to follow up to that game. We haven't got a Killer Instinct 2 in 3 years. Like, what's wrong with y'all? But we got a Street Fighter 4 and a 5. Like, and we got more seasons of Street Fighter 4.
And people did like KI.
Yeah, they loved it. It's just wild to me that they let these games slip through their hands. Like, a lot of people
Microsoft have all of these. They have been given multiple keys to the kingdom that they just refuse to accept.
Like, Killer Instinct was one of the first games to introduce a really in-depth training mode that had frame data, it had all this shit. Like, then Street Fighter copied that and was like, oh, we need to put this on our street. And the other fighters copied that model for training, because that was really important to fighting game community people. Like, we need to know frame data, block data, negative frames, positive frames, all this other shit. And Killer Instinct was the first, like, I think it was one of the first games to actually introduce a training mode that actually taught you how to play a fighting game. So, yeah, like Tiara said, they have all the keys to the kingdom, but they just keep throwing them away because it doesn't give them instant gratification. Like, they have to fucking find it or something. I don't know.
Right.
It's just
like
weird.
They're children.
Yeah, like, it's just like, and a lot of people consider, because Killer Instinct was at EVO 2 or 3 years in a row. So it's like, I consider that a success. When you're at EVO, you're competing with Arc System games, like you're competing with Capcom games, you're competing with like Mortal Kombat games, and people are like, yo, this Killer Instinct is really dope. Why are y'all just letting that slip? Like, why haven't we got a 4th season of Killer Instinct? Why haven't we got anything from this game? It's just wild to me. So yeah, like you said, this studio a lot is riding on this. A lot.
That's what I mean, but I'm just waiting for Microsoft to drop the ball. Honestly, like if I could put money on it, they're gonna drop the ball.
I mean,
And
I
then,
agree with you.
like
I feel the same way.
it's not super duper like you said, like like the Sony expo or whatever. If it's not super duper like that, they've dropped the ball. If it's average, they've dropped the ball.
Yeah, I'm not buying the Xbox
So-
Series X if there's no incentive for me to buy it. Like, I can only do Halo so much, man. Like, I'm sorry,
I'm
Halo.
actually over Halo.
I love Halo, but this will be the generation I am done with Halo.
Well, 20 years of it. I mean, how long can a franchise last? I mean,
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like things, Gears should have ended at Gears 3. Like,
yeah, Gears definitely should have ended.
Yeah.
Some of these things should have actually ended, and you should have put your time and effort into developing more and other franchises. Like Sony has many, you could say that, it's like, the same, third person, action genre, but there's different games. Like Death Stranding is different than Days Gone, which is different than Last of Us. Like they're all dramatically different, and they're all really good. It's no reason why Microsoft can't have the same thing.
No
Microsoft
reason.
is a billion-dollar multi-billion-dollar company.
Facts.
No way.
Right.
So yeah,
I'm with you.
I'm gonna be here saying that I knew it. I knew they would drop the ball.
I mean, I think that's all of our expectations here. I'm hoping Xbox can.
I'm really hoping they prove me wrong. Yeah.
I really hope so, because I'm rooting for Phil Spencer. I like him a lot. Okay.
Yeah, they don't deserve him. They don't deserve him, man.
They don't. And I really like what they've done with some of these things like Game Pass and some of their other initiatives that they've been working on the last few years. And it's just like,
and I only think they did that because of Phil Spencer.
I agree, and I'm worried though that the games aren't going to be there, because that's the most important part.
Yeah,
and none of this shit matters if the games don't pan out. No offense to them, but Game Pass is great; it's a great value, but that's not going to carry a console.
Exactly.
It's not.
That's something that'll be its own thing eventually. Like it already is, honestly. At this point, it could be separate from from Xbox. Like it doesn't even need that. So it's like, I don't know. I'm with you.
PlayStation has PlayStation Now, so
yeah. I didn't mean to go on the long rant there, but I'm really passionate. I love Xbox for what they are. I like, because when I think of my gaming experience, it didn't start with the Xbox, but as far as like next gen gaming, like I had the original Xbox and I played that with my family, and we loved that shit. We played Halo for fucking hours, so it's like that holds something dear to me. And I hate to see like this brand just become shit like what it is now.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we're definitely gonna be covering this in full. I will be watching this for sure. I am highly anticipating this, so we'll be covering this full show in a couple weeks after it airs, and we'll see if Tiara is right about that. I think I hope she's not.
I'm about to say I'm rarely wrong, and I be wanting to get wrong, but such is life.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more stories to get through. So Tencent, we talk about them a lot, and I feel like the Jaws music is playing, constantly with this company. They are opening a new AAA game studio in the United States in Los Angeles to make a next gen open world game. And the studio is going to be it's under their Lightspeed and Quantum subsidiary. And I don't think it has a name yet, but it's going to be led by Rockstar veteran Steve Martin, who had leadership roles on Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. So pretty legit resume there. And a number of other developers from some high quality studios like Rockstar, Respawn, 2K Games, Insomniac. So this is a high level of talent on this team. So this seems like it's going to be a potentially big game, whatever it is. But there is a quote here. We are ushering a new era of game culture by combining world-class development with a stress-free work environment, Martin said. From day one, our teams will be focused on building the highest caliber games while promoting integrity, proactivity, collaboration, and creativity. So, so that's going to be I don't know. This is interesting. I mean, Tencent constantly expanding, investing in companies, now making their own studios, which they have a number of, but You know, a new one in the United States in Los Angeles. That's kind of a big deal, honestly, and poaching all this talent from other studios. What do you guys think about this? Do you think Tencent can muster a good game here out of a studio like this?
I don't know. What's some of their other games that they produce?
Tencent, I mean, I don't know specifically. They're weird because they're kind of a holding company, but they have investments in a number of huge studios. Like they own Riot entirely. They have a big stake in Epic Games, and a number of other studios. So it's not like they don't have like a portfolio that you can like point to that's like, you know, they make this type of game. They have a lot of companies that they've invested in and worked with, but this is going to be a studio they own though, straight up. So it's a little bit different setup for them.
I don't know. I think it's like a wait and see. They haven't had any like proven products. Well, I guess I would have to do more research.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I expect we won't see whatever this game is for quite a while, I would expect. I mean, since they're just forming the studio now, it's a next-gen game, so I mean, I don't know, 2022, 2023 kind of thing would be my expectation. But Montrell, you have any thoughts on Tencent opening a new studio?
Yeah, I think it's the beginning of an invasion. I think they're gonna buy the industry up. I think they're gonna be the next EA, but like a foreign EA.
They're gonna destroy us from within.
Yeah,
it's so bad how EA is.
Well, you think EA's bad? Just wait till you hear Chief Sit, honey. Like they're gonna take over. Like,
cause I mean, EA just, you know, they have the like a green thumb. Like, you know, when you touch things and things die.
Well, yeah, they're like Microsoft, except they're not a hardware maker. Like they kill everything they touch. So
they literally kill everything they touch, and that's why it's so sad.
Tencent, on the other hand, doesn't kill anything they touch. It seems like everything they touch is uber successful and like ridiculously important to video games, and is becoming the backbone of gaming, of the game industry. So
that's what's so scary about it, though.
Yeah, that's what's terrifying about them. Because I mean, Riot, like literally one of the biggest companies in the world in video games, and then same with Epic. You know, having a huge stake in Epic.
Don't they own like some kind of stake in Activision Blizzard?
They do. Yes, in fact, they do. Actually, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. So that was the biggest thing. That's when I saw the impact of their influence. Right, the Hong Kong thing. That shit was huge, and Blizzard stopped all that shit happening at their events because, I mean, we don't know why, but we know why. You know what I'm saying? So, I just think that's very scary because what if we want to get like, what if someone wants to tell an interesting story from, God forbid, right? They buy Bethesda or they acquire the Fallout license or whatever. And someone wants to tell Fallout from the story of the Chinese, or we want to see China in the Fallout universe and how they're what they're doing over there. We probably never get that, or we'll probably get some really shitty version of a story that's really can be really very unique. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's like they have the ability to censor video games and its players, and I'm just really scared about that. That's the only problem I'm scared about. Besides that, I think they make really good games, or they acquired studios that have really good talent and stuff like that. It's just that I'm afraid of the censorship, like I said.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to our final story of the week. This is a big one. NBA 2K21 put up pre-orders for the game. Obviously, it's coming out soon. It's coming out on September 4th for current gen, but next gen won't be out on September 4th, so it'll be coming out on launch probably with the next gen consoles. But the price for next gen is what is interesting here. It was $69.99 on PS5 and Xbox Series X, and there will be no free upgrade from the current gen to next gen. So this is, I think, honestly, this is sending shockwaves through people. I think a lot of people have been sticking their head in the sand about this situation, because this is basically overt confirmation that games are going to be costing $70 next generation.
Right.
I would expect all games to be going up $10. That's been my expectation for quite a long time. In fact, I was surprised it didn't happen this gen, but here we are. So
honestly, games be costing like $100 each. By the time you get the base game itself at $60 plus all of the DLC, you're easily spending $100 per game
at launch. Though
it's high. It's highway.
I mean, some
robbery.
games depends on the game.
Yes. If you get the gold version of the game, all
all
like
the Ubisoft
top
games.
tier, like they came out at $100 at launch.
Yeah, because they come out with a season pass or whatever that
right, but that's what I'm saying. So that I did the introduction of the season pass, and everybody gotta have a season pass. Games are really, when you add it all together, it's like $100 each. So
yeah, but
really, we were already paying that amount.
Some people will argue though that stuff's optional.
I was about to say that.
How do you guys feel
optional.
about the base price going up $10? Like, do you think this is justified?
No, but it's a cash grab. That's now what the market rate for the games are. Once 2K comes out, that's going to be the market rate for the games. Games can't really come out below that now, or they won't.
Yeah,
come out below that.
Yeah, I mean, personally, as I said, I expected this. With how much games cost to make now, AAA games in particular, there was just no way we were going to avoid this, because we haven't had an increase in price in 15 years, basically, since Xbox 360 came out. And that was surprising to me this generation, but the fact that game costs have kind of continued to go up, and there has been some inflation since that period in time. If you look at 2013, $60 in 2013 money is now close to $70 in now money. So this is almost just an adjustment for inflation from that perspective, but also just game costs in general. I mean, I think that's the reason you're seeing these gold editions that cost $100, or these season passes, or all this extra content that is optional that costs a shitload of money. You're seeing that because companies are trying to make extra money to make up the cost of the games they've made, because they cost $100 million to make.
I mean,
$150 million to make.
Yeah, I understand that. So if that's the case, if it supports your developers, yes, I would support the games going up $10.
Yeah.
However, I fucking hate 2K. So
I mean, they're not the one to defend, right?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I just really feel like regardless of if I support it or not, I'm still gonna pay $70 for the game because I'm gonna want the game.
Yeah.
Games are not gonna go below 70. It's not gonna go back. So it's like I have no choice.
On a cynical side, they're taking advantage of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether I agree with it or not, at the end of the day, I'm gonna buy the game.
Oh, we some simps. Like, what the fuck? Like, how come no one's writing about this shit? Like, we're gaming culture.
We should unionize, take a strike.
Well, this is why we have journalists for, right?
This is to be taking a strike against.
This is why we have.
This feels like it's a minor story for some reason. I didn't see this on Twitter at all. No one's talking about this, dude.
I saw it briefly mentioned on Twitter.
It's crazy. It's great because this is huge. This is a huge deal. This is, like I said, it hasn't happened in 15 years. Like, that's big. Gaming's only been around for 40.
It's 2K though. Like, the thing about it is, right, they're gonna set the precedent, because when they come out with NBA 2K and they set it to $70, motherfuckers are gonna buy it. Like, they are. And you know what? I'm not even about to go on my sports fan rant. You know what? That's all I gotta say about it. I don't support it, but I understand it. And if it's going to $70, then so be it. I was kind of expecting it this generation, like you said. But you know what? The games are going to be a lot better next generation. That's the thing. I think the first wave of games should be $60. And then if you prove to me that it is worth my $10, then yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. But the thing...
Only game that should come out at $70 is Cyberpunk. Sorry.
Yeah. The thing for me, though, is that AAA game costs are kind of at a point that I think they're kind of untenable. Like, they can't keep making games like this that take 5 years to make and they cost $150 million. Like, the amount of copies you have to sell to recoup that can be unreasonable sometimes, and it can destroy studios, and it's like, even Sony talked about this recently, that AAA game costs are like game creation has become rigid because you cannot take risks. Because if the game takes risks and falls on its face, you just lost a shitload of money because of taking a risk, you know? So these games, that's why we're not seeing huge innovations from the AAA space a lot of the time, you know?
Yeah.
So this helps mitigate that, but it doesn't really solve the problem, which unfortunately is kind of, this is like a half step, you know? It's like, so what's, and the thing is we've opened Pandora's box with microtransactions. They're not going away. We're still going to get $40 season passes. We're going to still get all these little mini microtransactions, you know, cosmetics and shit and battle passes.
Right, battle pass.
Yeah, they're not going away, right? So that fact does make this puts a sour taste in my mouth with this, because
I don't know, man. It's wild.
Oh.
Like, if the $10 extra took away some of those microtransactions in a lot of these games, I'm all for it. You know,
Yeah.
But it's not going to. There's going to be $70 plus the microtransactions.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Especially
Any way
with
to
2K.
maximize the money.
Right,
First of
especially
all,
with 2K and EA.
I think what everyone's missing out on this conversation is like, yeah, AAA studios have big budgets or whatever the fuck it is. But let's talk about how like 35% of that budget goes towards fucking marketing and PR. Like, that shouldn't be the case. Like, I'm sorry. Like, let's say we got Last of Us 2, right? I can understand maybe having a big marketing budget for like Last of Us 1, but like Last of Us 2, right? You don't need a huge marketing campaign for this.
Right. It's going to speak for itself.
Exactly.
There wasn't really for Last of Us 2.
Yeah. Well, you're right. There wasn't. But like, let's say Destiny, for instance, right?
Yeah.
I feel like...
But I get what you mean, though.
Yeah. Destiny had the most egregious like thing. I think it was a $500 million budget, I believe. And I think 40% of that was spent on marketing, campaign, and other shit. Yeah. And yeah, that other $300 million went towards development, but we don't know how much of that went towards the RD. We don't know how much of that. And it's like, where's all this money going? Because you play Destiny, you're like, you play Destiny upon release, and you're like, this was $250 million? Like,
yeah, right. It's insane. Well, do you remember Star Wars: The Old Republic? Still an ongoing MMO, but remember when that game launched they spent $350 million on that game, and it was a complete fucking disaster of a launch. And the game had spent like $150 million on voice acting because everything in the game was voice acted.
I feel like that was worth it, though. It was worth the experience. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know, but it didn't recoup costs, right? Like it was not money well spent in the sense of like making the game. Like the game would have been garbage without that, but the game was garbage anyways. Yeah. So it's like, where did all that money go? Like you said, it's like you need to, if you're going to invest this much money, the game has to be good. You know, it has to be. It absolutely has to be.
There's no reason why it's not.
Because I wonder how much it costs to make. Yeah, you're right. I wonder how much it costs to make World of Warcraft.
Not much. It was nowhere near these numbers. Because Blizzard at that point in time, they were popular, but they were not a big company. You know, like World of Warcraft made them crazy big. You know.
Yeah, but my thing is, I guess I'm trying to understand why KOTOR failed or SWTOR failed, because World of Warcraft didn't have that big of a budget, and it didn't have voice acting, but it still managed to be fun. So
yeah,
I don't know. You're right, because I remember playing SWTOR, and I remember getting to the end game and playing the dungeons, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is not what I expected." And I don't know. It's just these budgets are getting out of control, man. Like they're getting out of control.
I mean, that game failed. Like Star Wars: The Old Republic failed because the game was boring. Like, and the content was boring. The story was good for the most part, and they made all these stories for all these different classes and everything, and different in both sides, the Sith versus the Jedi side, or Republic side, whatever you want to call it. That was great and all, but when you put that much effort into it for something that you're only gonna, like, think about this, right? You pick one class out of, what was it?
It was six. Yeah.
6, right? And each one of those classes has their own unique story. on each side. So there's 12 unique stories you've created. That seems crazy for a game because most players are only going to experience one. You know, that seems nuts. Like that's a lot of effort, and that's great, and I love that, and that's awesome and everything. But
How many
it's not
classes
necessarily smart.
How many classes did World of Warcraft have upon release?
9, but they didn't have like a full storyline dedicated to them. The game was streamlined. Like the game didn't have a storyline. It was an MMO, like the way MMOs used to be. There was no like main quest in World of Warcraft, you know. The game was literally wandering around quest hubs and doing whatever quests were in the hubs you were in, you know. That was the game. There was no main storyline that you were following. Unlike Star Wars: The Old Republic, which was designed like a single player game that had an MMO around it, you know. It was the weirdest design, and it ended up being a game that people abandoned because they played the story for the class they cared about, and then they bounced because the game wasn't like fun, you know. Otherwise, outside of that, once you experienced the story you wanted to experience, there was no other reason to play the game because there was no real raid content, there was no dungeons. So it's like, so that's the thing is like, if you're gonna have these big budgets, that's the point about taking risks, right? What they did was a risk, and it didn't work out. And Destiny, frankly, Destiny was a huge risk. It worked out, but it very well could not have, and it could have been a disaster, you know? Because 500 million that's an insane budget for a video game, dude.
They had to invest it. Like they had to put investment into it because it was going to be a bust. I think this is why EA is putting so much money into Anthem because we don't even know the budget behind that game. I imagine it's fucking huge, though.
Right, an 8-9 year dev cycle for BioWare. I mean, I don't know, dude.
And this is the second time BioWare did this shit because Sator is the first game they fucked up on multiplayer wise.
That's true. That is their game. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's funny.
So
and then Andromeda too.
Well, that wasn't. I'm talking about multiplayer wise.
Yeah, but high budget games though. Andromeda probably didn't have a small budget.
Yeah, it didn't.
So yeah. So anyways, games are gonna be 70 now. Next generation.
Can't wait for that. Can't wait to see men sweat more in the new sports games, and that's the only mechanic in the game that they introduce.
Yeah, man.
Hey, you want to see this sweaty guy get more sweaty? Yeah.
Well, no, man. They're gonna use Kobe Bryant's legacy to sell this game.
Oh my. Okay.
Because that's the marketing campaign, dude. It says Mamba Forever Edition. Like that's one of the special editions for this game.
That's so fucking. That's why I'm offended by that, and people are gonna buy it.
People are definitely gonna buy it because it's Kobe.
Dude, yeah, it is offensive, and that's my point. Is it's gross. Like they're gonna use Kobe's legacy to sell this fucking game, and yeah, fuck that.
But they don't even have to. It's 2K.
They don't. Exactly. That's the problem. They don't.
They don't. Period. They don't. So, all right, let's move on. We only have a few more things here. Minor announcements. Horizon Zero Dawn, we know, is coming to PC, but it actually got a release date finally. It is coming on August 7th to PC. Will either of you be checking it out on PC?
No, I'm going to buy it on PlayStation.
I'm going to buy it on PC because I played it on PlayStation. I desperately wanted this game to be 60 frames.
Well, dude, I'm not going to play it, but I am really intrigued to see footage of this game because I imagine it is going to be fucking gorgeous on PC. Like fully unlocked and being able to leverage like full PC hardware. I mean, the game was already gorgeous on PS4, but imagine the full power of a PC behind a game like this. I mean, that's what they've been working on, you know?
What was the top selling game on Steam that was a PlayStation game? I linked you the article, but I forgot what game it was.
I don't remember. Is it a recent game?
Yeah. It came out from PlayStation and then went on Steam.
Oh, was it Death Stranding?
I think so. That may be it.
That's out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out on PC. So maybe that's the one. Yeah. In that game I've seen some footage. Is gorgeous on PC. It's like crazy. So Horizon Zero Dawn on PC August 7th. That'll be interesting. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning.
Yes.
The worst name for a game, but maybe a really good game.
It is a really good game.
So it was rumored to be coming out in August. That was never confirmed, and it has now been confirmed that this game will be coming in September. I don't see an exact date here, actually. It just says September. So, September 8th. So September 8th, re-release of the game. But the interesting part about this is that they announced there is going to be a new DLC for the game post-launch in 2021. And it's going to be called Fate Sworn. They didn't say much about it, and they haven't actually shown gameplay of the game yet in this new remastered state. But does it excite you? You're getting new content for a game that's basically 10 years old or close to 10 years old?
Yes, because well, I actually love this game. I think this game was severely underrated. I think everyone should go back and play this game because it's fucking good. Like, it's good.
I'm going to be playing this for sure.
Yeah, it's a good fucking game. And I'm so mad that this studio closed that made the game.
Yeah, but dude, this seems to be THQ Nordic's MO is buy up these old IPs for these old ass games, re-release them, and then make new content for said old game after the fact. Because they did this with Titan Quest as well. And they released like 3 expansions for Titan Quest after they re-released it like a few years back. It's the weirdest shit.
Were their expansions good though?
A couple of them actually were, yeah. Like the first 2 were, I think, and then the third one they released was not good.
I mean, it could be that they have a lot of like people who have like nostalgia.
Oh, for sure, definitely.
Who make the decisions to buy up these IPs.
It's just like, they're weird. THQ Nordic is weird.
Wanted, I mean, I wish I had that power. Like some games that I wanted, extra content for. If I could just buy them and just have developers make new content for that.
Well, for me, Brigandine, I literally never thought a new Brigandine game would ever come out. And here we are in 2020, and I have a new Brigandine game. Like, what the fuck? What is going on? It's the weirdest thing. It's literally the weirdest thing because that is like one of the most obscure IPs on the PS1. Like, no one knows what that game is, and like I don't know, but here we are. And yeah, Kingdoms of Amalur. Like, this one's actually popular though, and honestly, if the DLC is good, it's gonna sell. I think, because people love this IP. Montrell being one of them.
Yeah, because it was really underrated when it came out. A lot of stuff overshadowed it, and
well, the studio has a really tragic story, and that made the game a little bit more known, more of a known quantity than it probably would have been otherwise.
Yeah, it actually went gold like as far as selling, and then I think it went almost platinum after the studio closed, and people were like, "We're not getting the second version." One.
They closed like very soon after the game came out. Yeah. Like, it was not even. I don't even think it was more than a couple months. Like, yeah, it was nuts. So. So September 8th for this. Like I said, I think I'm going to be playing this. I'm looking forward to it actually because the game just does look really fun.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then we got a couple delays. Nothing big here. Probably games most people don't care about, but a game from Ubisoft named The Settlers. So this is like a town builder. Looks like a medieval town builder. Similar.
I'd be liking those games, honestly.
Yeah.
Surviving Mars on the PlayStation 4.
So the game actually looks really cool, but it has been delayed indefinitely. So it was supposed to be coming out this year, and they've said they're delaying it indefinitely. I'm sure COVID has wreaked havoc on them, but they haven't given a new window to it. So I'm sure I'll report on it when I see a release date for it. But I actually kind of wanted to check this game out because like a medieval town builder sounds really fun to me. I don't necessarily like Sim City or anything like that or City Skylines, but a medieval version of that, I might be able to get behind that. Get some like barbarians attacking you and shit, and like wolves and
play Age of Empires, bro.
I'm into that. No. You're not fighting anybody. You're just trying to build your town and survive, Montrell. That's it. That's the game. I don't want to fight anybody. Except for the wolves and the barbarians, But so yeah, that's delayed. One more delay. Crisis Remastered, which was supposed to be coming out in a month or so, had a trailer leak for the game, and apparently it looks really bad. I haven't actually watched it, but people were very upset with the quality of the trailer, which then prompted Crytek to delay the game. And this one is also delayed indefinitely, but they said it's only going to be a few weeks of a delay. So we'll see. We'll let you guys know what a new date for this one is. But yeah, that's it. That's all we got this week.
No,
You
really?
guys-
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's the stories. I told you we'd be out of here in an hour 20. Look at that. We're about to hit an hour 20 right now. So unless you guys have anything else you want to discuss before we take off.
I do not.
Stop raping people, please.
That's
Please stop raping people.
please, for the love of God.
It's actually not that hard to not rape people.
It really isn't.
Yeah, man. Just don't
I don't
do
understand what's going on here.
Just respect people's space, okay?
Like
That's
if
not
you
that hard.
just get too fucking horny, just use your right hand or
I was
left.
say, isn't that the point of masturbating?
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah,
Right.
just
for real.
do that. Like
Or
it's not worth it.
the unpopular opinion. There are people you can pay for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
know.
That should be
Yes.
legal. Let's just be honest. Should be legal. No, not to
Be
get political
respectful
here.
to them though.
But,
Don't be
yeah.
violent.
Be
with them.
respectful.
Yes, but there is services for that.
Also, 2020 version of this. Just go on Tinder. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
app
And
for that
also,
shit.
just let your
And-
intentions be known that you
Yeah,
I just
right.
want to have sex.
Exactly.
That's it.
and then also, if anybody from BioWare is listening, we need a new Mass Effect.
We're getting it. That is.
You get that one obscure listener who's like, "Yeah, I'm from BioWare."
I'm pretty sure.
We need a
Imagine
new
we have
Mass
like a
Effect.
dev from BioWare listening to this. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, because we're getting a new Dragon Age for sure. I need a confirmation that we're
No, we're getting a
Mass
Mass
Effect.
Effect. That's been reported. It's in early
Okay.
development. It's not announced, and we're not going to hear about it for probably 2 years. But it's
As long as it's
supposedly in
happening.
development. So yeah, you can look forward to that. And
as long
in the
as,
meantime,
Andromeda didn't scare them off.
you're getting a remaster of the first 3 games. So-
Andromeda actually sold very well. It sold like I think
It did sell very well. I don't
400
know why people
million?
keep. I don't know why
Yeah.
people keep saying that game was a flop. It
it's
actually
sold
very
really well. It
I
made
bought
enough
it at
money.
launch.
Anthem was a flop. I did.
Anthem
I
was a-
bought. I did. I'm
Yeah,
a big
yeah.
Mass Effect fan.
Yeah. So all right, we're rambling now. We're
Yes.
tired.
Yeah.
Let's sign off here. So if you guys like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi. I am at Thundernet01. The show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter or send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And like I said at the beginning of the episode, I just want to remind you guys again, because Montrell and I spent 3 hours talking about The Last of Us Part 2. That is up right now. Spoiler cast. Please check that out and let us know your thoughts on that game. So that's it. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one. All right. Bye, guys.